will reduce or delay, or in some cases completely eliminate their buys and cause further problems for the program. So there is considerable risk in that. The second thing that's worth noting is what's being asked for here is the Department of Defense to set an initial operating capability date. Now, the Department of Defense has said that they intend to set such a date for the F-35 for all three variants by the end of this year. What my substitute amendment does is it simply requires them to do that. I think it's important that we at least keep pushing on it to that extent. But to do it to the extent that Mr. Akin suggests, as I said, jeopardizes the program, could potentially drive up costs and further undermine our foreign partners' confidence. And the final thing that I will point out is the F-35 has had initial operating capability dates before. So even if we were to force the Pentagon to do this, they can set the date, and it doesn't necessarily solve the problem. So at great risk to the overall program in terms of the message it sends to our foreign partners, we're not actually accomplishing a great deal with the underlying amendment. So this is a simple way of saying, yes, the committee is still very focused on making sure we actually get to initial operating capability, but hopefully do so in a way that doesn't send the wrong message about the program. We are, for better or worse, committed to this program because, frankly, we have no choice. It is critical to our national security needs. We have to keep up the pressure to make sure that it actually gets delivered and meets its capability, but an amendment like this doesn't move that forward and does create greater problems for the amendment. So I offer my substitute as a simple way around that, continue to say we need initial operating capability. I would further urge that we actually get initial operating capability, not just set a date, but I believe the substitute amendment eliminates the threat that the underlying amendment poses to the program and continues to make clear that we on this committee want this program to move forward and get done and get back on schedule. I urge support for the substitute amendment, and I yield back.
Let me just say how I agree with everything that the ranking member has said. This is a very critical program for us, very important program. At some point in the future, this plane will be 95% of our air fighter force. So it's important that we get it right. It's important that we move forward with it. Is there any further debate on the amendment?
Mr. Chairman, yes. I'd like to talk about the substitute amendment. Speak on the substitute.
Recognized for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, the substitute amendment, essentially, if you take it at face value, it's saying we're going to get an IOC date not later than December 31. What I'm requesting is an IOC date by about March. So this is, in a sense, more strict. The only trouble is there's no teeth in this one, and there's no guarantee the Pentagon's going to necessarily do what we say. We've been talking with them on all kinds of different things. We found the helicopter problem over with our medevac helicopters. You can talk to them and say you want a report and you want them to do this and that. They don't do it. So this thing has no teeth. The proposal I had was simply saying by March, if they don't have something by March of 13, this is December of 12, then it's going to start cutting into their funds. What you're doing here is effectively just saying, well, we really want this, and you really should do this, but there's no real teeth in it. And as far as hurting the perception of the program, I forget what your phrase was, that it's undermining confidence in the program. It's just simply saying we need to have some specific dates so we know how to run what are requirements for joint strike fighters or different fighter aircraft. We need some sort of thing to plan on, and you're not doing that. But anyway, I understand that this amendment will probably pass. I just don't think your amendment will really do anything at all. But if that's what the committee wants to do, I'll live with that. Thank you.
Gentleman yields back